Ong Namo, Guru Dev Namo, and maybe all the mics, the speakers can be on Satpur Singh, so we can hear everyone tuning in with us. Okay, so I can hear a number of people speaking. Okay, let's tune in, let's close our eyes, and let's meditate on the breath as the breath comes, as the breath goes, and just be with your breath for a few seconds, and the moment, feel the presence of your breath, the presence of your soul, the presence of the Guru, Rama Nanak, Guru Nanak, Wali Nanak, Avadut Nanak, Yogi Nanak. The consciousness of non-duality, where the individual soul merges with the totality, where the boundaries are no more, and the consciousness expands and expands and expands. Good. Inhale and exhale. Let's tune in with Om Namo. Om Just feel that expansion as you hold the breath and exhale. And inhale for base touch if you know the mantra. Adu Sach, Jugal Sach, Have Sach, Nanak Hosi Bhe Sach. Adu Sach, Jugad Sach, Have Sach, Nanak Hosi Sach. Adu Sach, Jugad Sach, Have Sach, Nanak Hosi Sach. Adu Sach, Jugad Sach, Have Sach, Nanak Hosi Sach. Adu Sach, Jugad Sach, Have Sach, Nanak Hosi Sach. Inhale and hold, 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 and exhale. And just for a few seconds, sit still. Teri mehir da bol, tude aage aakash, Guru, Guru, Vaheguru, Guru Ram Das. Satnam. Blessings to all of you. And I see Sri Gyan is here. So Sri Gyan, please take over. We felt very lonely because can you please take over?
I thought you did wonderfully. Can you all hear me? I don't have a headset. Okay. Well, I'm very glad to be with everybody. Didn't we have an incredible time at Yogi Mela? Oh my God, we all went to heaven. And here's the guy who led us there. We are so happy. See, I love to tease him. Isn't it fun?
Sort of, yes. Okay.
So this beautiful teacher is going to answer our questions. He's going to expand on Yogi Mela and what he taught there. Oh, and do you remember at Yogi Mela, he was doing his best to teach us about avatars, and we said, oh, maybe we can make a webinar. Well, folks, we have a webinar coming up, a series of 3 classes. The last 3 Tuesdays in May. So that will be May, I forget. I'm sorry. I will have to look. I'll tell you soon. Does anybody have it maybe in front of them? Right there. Oh, May 13th, 20th, and 27th. Oh, I guess I should let you know the website later, but I'm going to tell it to you now. It's soulanswer.com/avatars. Listen to this spelling. It's special. I asked Amandeep for it. It's AVTAARS.HTML. And so you can sign up there. But now, Amandeep, how do you want to do it? Do you want to talk first, answer questions? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I was thinking I will start with the moon mantra meditation.
Oh.
And we will chant for maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes, and then we can have a Q&A, and from there we'll just pick up and whatever comes and however the flow goes.
Okay.
Okay, is that is okay with you, Srigan?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Thank you. So let's bring our hands. There are many ways, this moon mantra can be done. We have been doing with a special mudra. And there's also another mudra, which uses the hands. I've talked about the hands and extension of the heart. So you bring that extension back. So it's called heart-to-heart communication. The outgoing hands representing the outgoing heart, you bring it back. So heart-to-heart connection through the sound current. So it's you connecting with you. The whole aim of our, all the spiritual path is to unite you with the you. Because so far, what you think you are not. You are not what you think you are. That which you are, you do not know. That's why we walk the spiritual path, to recognize our true self. Some people call it, soul consciousness, and in the Kundalini tradition, we call it Sadhana, the true identity. We have so many identities. Some of us are parents, some of us are mothers, some of us are uncle and aunt and these and that. So many sub-personalities we live in. But none of these really identifies the real you. So they're just like brands given to you. So once all these brands are thrown out, what is left behind is the real you. Some call it soul, some call it consciousness, and some call it God. And in the Kundalini tradition, we call it Satnam, true identity. So this is getting back into your true identity. This is the outer heart, the heart that communicates with the world. And this is the inner heart, the silent heart. So it's bringing back the outer heart, which is always engaged in the outer world, bring it back. and let it touch the real heart, the inner heart. Eyes are closed. Focus on the third eye, and we will chant the Gul mantra in its naad. So we will chant it a few times. Eyes are closed. We will inhale. We will chant together. Ek Omkar Satnam Karta Akal Purat Ajuni Sabham Adu Kap Adu Sach Yugadu Sach Adi Nanak Siddhi Sach Ek Omkar Satnam Karta Nirvana Ajini Sebham Guru Prasad Sach Nanak Hosi Sach Ek Omkar Satnam Karta Nirbhau Ajuni Guru Prasad Nanak two more times. Ek Omkar Ajuni Sabham Prasad Jap Adu Sach Yugadu Adi Sach Siddhi Sach. Next time. Ek Karta Purat Nirbhau Ajuni Sebham Guru Prasad Jap Adu Sach Yugadu Sach Adi Sach Inhale and hold. And let this breath be the breath of Guru Nanak. Let it unite you with your own self. Let it unite you with the consciousness we call Nanak, non-duality. Where you are not you, you are beyond you, the real you, and exhale. One more time, inhale, hold. And let this breath be the breath of Guru Ram Das, the breath of devotion, the breath of gratitude, the breath of reverence, the breath of the heart center. And exhale. One more time, inhale, hold. And let this breath be the breath of Baba Sri Chand, the breath of intuition, the breath which is beyond the mind, the breath of the ethers, the blue light. And exhale. And one more time, inhale, hold, and let this breath be the breath of Sri Sangha Yogi, the master, the very special incarnation, the special avatar, the Nitya avatar, the most compassionate avatar of the totality in the form of man. Hold and feel this breath, the breath that will activate the wisdom in you. The breath that will awaken the navel center in you, because when the navel is activated, life is activated, and when the navel is open up, the journey into yoga opens up. And hold, and exhale. Sadhana. So we start our journey, as I say, we had really good time with the grace of the Guru and with the grace of the Master. And this was to just unite us back, try to feel that same reverence. It's called Sangha. It comes from two words, Sanggate. It's a Sanskrit word, Sangha or Sangha, Sanggate. Sangha means association, and Gate means freedom from the mind. So Sangat is the company in which you sit and you get freedom from your mind. We are so mind people. We are always in the mind. We are always in the head. And the funny part or the sad part in the modern world is because we stay in the head, their heads are constantly, knocking into each other. It can be husband and wife. It can be parents and children. It can be the boss and the worker. It's a constant head banging, heady people. So the whole aim of Sangha is to come from here to here. So it's called the Sangha, where you escape the thoughts of the mind. It's very fast. The thoughts of the mind is very fast. At the blink of the eye, you get 1,000 thoughts. So just can you imagine how confused our mind is? And sometimes we catch the wrong thought and we throw that thought out and then we get into trouble. So to come out of these, this thought, this head, Sangat, Sangate, in the company of those whose association we can come from the head into the heart. So this is what is called Sangha. So let's meditate, go deeper, and as we go deeper into our Q&A. So Sri Gyan, you may want to start, from here, and if anybody have a question, we can start from there.
I'm sorry, what were you asking?
Yeah, so maybe you can start, Q&A, if somebody has mailed you, or somebody, you can be the intermediate, just be there, the whole space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so now you went so fast and we learned so many things. So now the question is, my dear ones, what were your questions during Yogi Mela? What questions would you like to have answered, or what? We all had such deep experiences. You can either ask a question or relate an experience that you've had of being at the Yogi Mela or having done the Mole Mantra either before or after, or if you didn't go to the Yogi Mela, you can also ask any question.
Mm-hmm.
Who will be first?
I have a number of people, who have emailed me, for the questions and all that. So now is the opportunity. And I do not promise I will answer all your questions. We can try. Okay, so we will go with the flow. Okay. So please ask if anybody has a question so that we can start our conversation for today. Basically, it's a Q&A and just, going deeper into that energy again. And don't be shy because none of you, you can only hear your voice, so you're not on camera. So please go ahead, ask a question.
I have a question.
Yes, please. Very good.
Hi, this is Liv Akhtar.
Yes, please.
Satnam, what do you feel the healing energies of Guru Nanak are?
Can you repeat your question, please?
What is the essence of the healing energy of Guru Nanak?
I'm going to reframe your question.
When sitting with Guru Nanak, how does his healing energy come through?
There are a number of ways through you can be healed. And not only just confining to Guru Nanak. Any form of healing can be healed through the breath. That's the first way. Healed through the breath. And Guru Nanak talks about that in Jabdu. Guru Nanak says, Pavan Guru. Pavan Guru. That's the first way. Pavan Guru. The second way is through the sound, the Shabad Guru. So Guru Nanak, if you ask especially Guru Nanak, then the first way Guru Nanak can heal you, or Guru Nanak can, put that healing energy into you, the first way is through the breath. It's called the Pavan Guru. The second way is the Shabad Guru, the sound current. When the Pavan Guru and the Shabad Guru combines together, most of the time, our breath is not in line with our sound. And sound comes from the navel. From the yogic perspective, sound is not born here. Sound is not born here. Sound, the birthplace of sound is in the navel. If your navel is not aligned, your sound will not be aligned. And if your navel is aligned, your sound will be aligned, and let me add, your breath will also be aligned. The source of both your breath and your sound is the navel center. So if your navel is aligned, your breath and your sound both will be aligned. So the two ways is the breath and the sound, you align them together. With the Pavan, you recite a Shabad. You see, you have to uplift your frequency. For any healing to happen, you have to uplift your frequency. If your frequency is not at the level, sometimes we long for healing. We keep on calling, we want some changes in our life, but it doesn't happen. Because you're only demanding it. You are not uplifting yourself. The process of uplifting yourself is called sadhana. Sadhana. So the first thing is that through sadhana, you uplift your frequency, and what is the technique of uplifting the frequency is to connect the breath with the sound, which both starts in the navel. When the Pavan Guru and the Shabad Guru is aligned, a kind of ecstasy comes into you. You go into a kind of wonder. You go into wow, something has shifted, something has changed. And that is called Vaheguru. So the three processes of healing. The first is Pavan Guru, the second is Shabad Guru, and when these are combined together in the navel center, you go into ecstasy, it's called Vaheguru. So the three process, or the three ways Guru Nanak, can come through is through the breath, through the sound, and when that is aligned, Nanak comes into your life through ecstasy, through wow. That very wonder in you is also one of the manifestations of Nanak. Where Nanak is, wonder will come, astonishment will come, wow will come. So the three ways are Pavan Guru, Shabad Guru, and Vaheguru. So these are the three steps, three process, and three ways which healing energy can happen regardless of whoever, the energy is coming from. And I hope I answered your question.
Nam, you did beautifully. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Who's next?
What is Syria Brother? Sadhana? Sadhana?
Satnam?
Syria Brother, how are you?
Satnam, how are you? Nice to reconnect.
Deep, I have to tell you that before the Yogi Mela, I never thought of Guru Nanak as a yogi. Afterwards, that's the only way I can think of him. So, you really enlightened us. Would you tell us a little bit about Guru Nanak as a yogi? Because he didn't go live in a cave, right?
Yeah.
He had a wife, he had children, he did farming.
Yeah. You see, Guru Nanak changed the meaning of a yogi. Guru Nanak changed the meaning. In the past, in the earlier ages, in the earlier traditions, in the earlier lineages, yogi was the one who renounced the world, who had no interference into the world, who is unattached. Guru Nanak said, you have to stay in the world and remain unattached. A person who stays out of the world and stays unattached, it's not a great thing because he's not being triggered. The real test of a yogi is only when he comes and dwells in the world. Then that will make him a yogi. I'll give you a small story. There was this great man. His name was Shanti Das. His name was Shanti Das, which means peace. You know, Shanti means very peaceful. He stayed up in the mountains for 12 years. And he came down after 12 years and he started to declare that he was the most peaceful man on the planet Earth because for 12 years he was in total peace. And when he came down, he declared that one of the devotees of Guru Nanak, he went and he bowed to this very peaceful man and he said, "Dear sir, dear yogi, what is your name?" He said, "My name is Shanti Das," which means peaceful, very peaceful. And he bowed and he went away. After a few moments, he came back again and he said, "Dear sir, what is your name?" He said, "My name is Shanti Das." "Thank you." He went away. He came back again. And, "Dear sir, what is your name?" He said, "Shanti Das," peaceful, very peaceful. He went away. Again he came back. And he went 5, 6, 8 times. And this peaceful man lost his peacefulness. And he started to scold this guy. "I have told you 101 times, my name is Shanti Das, Shanti Das, Shanti Das." And the devotee of the Guru said, "You just lost your Shanti. You just lost your Shanti. You were up in the mountains, you were up in the caves. No one was there to test you. The real test is in the world. The real test is when you dwell in the family. The real test is when you do your daily activities. You look after your children. You have to listen to your wife. You have to listen to your parents and dad and these and your kids. This is the real place where a yogi is tested. So you were up in the mountains. There was no one to touch you. There was no one to test you. And then you were peaceful. The moment you came and you dwell in the world, you lost your peacefulness." So Guru Nanak's, explanation of a yogi is not the one who stays in the mountain. He stays in the world and he's a very normal person. When time to be angry, he's angry. But only for a few moments and then he lets it go. What is the difference between an ordinary person and a yogi? It's not that a yogi don't get angry. A yogi gets angry. A yogi also becomes sad. But his sadness or his anger comes and goes. He's able to release that emotion immediately. But an ordinary person holds on to that emotion sometimes for 12 years, sometimes for lifetime. At the bed when he's about to die, then he still remembers so and so said this to me. That's the difference. A yogi goes through all emotions. It's not that a yogi is a stone. It's not that a yogi does not have feelings. It's not that a yogi is not a human. All that which happens in the human happens through a yogi. But the only difference is he lives that emotion and immediately he releases the emotion. A yogi is the one who has the power to release the emotion. A bogi, on the other hand, is the one who holds on to that emotion for long time, sometimes for lifetimes. He reincarnates again and again and again and again. He comes back to take revenge. He comes back to take revenge. He reincarnates to take revenge from someone who did so and so. A yogi is the one who can forgive. This moment he is angry, and if you ever look at Yogi Bhajan, this is what he was. This moment he was angry, next moment he could hug the same person. One moment he will say, "This is my enemy." There were so many enemies around Yogi, and the next moment the same enemy Yogi will be hugging. So for him, emotions come and go. So this is the definition of yogi. Guru Nanak defines yogi as Gur ke shabd mare man mare sundar jodata intiyo. A yogi is the one who do not dwell in the mind. Who do not dwell in the mind. And Guru Nanak did many beautiful sadhanas that Sri Gyanas talk about Guru Nanak, some of the stuff was how he was a yogi. Other than the mental state which we just discussed, it is the mindset that makes you a yogi. Okay? But Guru Nanak also did a lot of intensive sadhanas that were very yogic. I have talked about that in very detail in the Yogi Mela, but those of you who are new, who's the first time attending this workshop, just let me share some. Guru Nanak, in his lifetime, in the early days, when he was still in a seeker, he was still a seeker. That's the beauty of Avatar. The Avatar, although they are in control of the three worlds, or the worlds beyond and beyond, but when they come in a human form, they are very ordinary beings. They behave like ordinary people. And Guru Nanak, in his early age, when he was still seeking, he did many forms of sadhanas, many forms of austerities. And it is mentioned that Guru Nanak's asana was made of stones. Made of stones, not sheepskin, not tiger skin. He will have an asana of stones and he will sit on these stones and do sadhana. And he will go without food for days and days and days. And then ultimately he also stopped drinking water. There's a verse, in the yogic writings, Ret ak ahar kar rodan di gur kari vishai pari kari tapasya vade pag har singh baninai. Yogi ji have also explained this verse which I just recite to you. The essence of this verse, it describes Guru Nanak's sadhana, one of his many yogic sadhanas. Ret ak. So in the beginning, he stopped eating food, then he stopped drinking water, and then he started to eat this special plant. It's called milkweed. It's called milkweed. In the Gurumukhi, it's called ak. Milkweed is a poisonous plant which the yogis used to eat in a special way. You cannot eat directly. There's a way of preparing or processing this food to make it edible. It is vegetable mercury, actually. That's how it has been explained. And there's a way of, making it edible. And Guru Nanak will do that. And he used to eat that. And then as he went more into his sadhana, Guru Nanak would eat this much of soil every day, sand, earth, this much. That's how it's defined. He will eat this and then he will sit in meditation. He had an underground meditation cell that just fixed, it was just as much as his body. And he will just sit in that and he will meditate for days and days and days and days. So this is one of his sadhanas, the yogic sadhana, which he did in his early life. Other than that, his Guru Nanak's attire was very yogic. Guru Nanak's shoe was also very yogic. Guru Nanak wore a very special shoe. It's called the Khadama. And I have given a very yogic explanation to that and many other things that Guru Nanak did that were very yogi. I will also add in, if Guru Nanak was not a yogi, then there can be no other yogi. The greatest yogi was Guru Nanak, because all the 84 siddhas, the 84 perfected sages, they are known as the 84 siddhas, and all these siddhas, all these spiritual paths, all these spiritual path on this world was started by these 84 siddhas. And it is mentioned in Guru Nanak's life that all these 84 siddhas, the perfected sages, the highest yogis who ever lived on the planet Earth, in their astral body, they came to Guru Nanak and they bowed. And they said, you are the real yogi, who have not renounced the world, who stayed in the world, and yet he was out of the world. The example of this is given as a lotus flower. The lotus grows in the mud. Despite being in the mud, the lotus is beyond the mud. It faces the skies, it faces the sun. So that is the definition of Guru Nanak. That's the definition of the yogi. And that's our ultimate destiny, all of us. To stay in the mud, all these worldly activities, sometimes you get frustrated. Why this, why that? With all this mud, your face should be facing up into the skies, looking into the higher self, which is, the Guru. Actually, also, the Guru Nanak represents your higher self. Remember another thing. Guru Nanak is not something outside. Guru Nanak is a consciousness. It's an elevated consciousness. And this is your ultimate consciousness. The day you will bloom, you will become what Nanak was. So the aim is to become Nanak, non-duality. So that is the answer to that question. I hope I answered that.
This is Namdarshan Kaur from New Orleans. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
After that wonderful explanation of what a yogi is, I was wondering whether in the Sikh Dharma, and knowing that you have a very in-depth knowledge of all spiritual paths, would you consider Christ as being a yogi, or even an avatar?
Yes. Yeah. All great sages, all those, there are two kinds of, avatars. There are silent avatars and there are avatars who start a spiritual path. And not all avatars will start spiritual path. We'll talk about this in our avatars, in a webinar. And yes, I'm not good in this subject. And, basically I have studied a lot of Eastern religions, but, on overall, yes, he was an avatar. And, sometimes if you ask me to define, he was a Nitya avatar. Nitya avatar, is like Yogi Ji and all these compassionate avatars who come down to start a path, because, if you look, during that time at that part of the world, there was so much confusion. There was not a very structured path. And then, this special avatar came to give the teaching of what he gave. So I do, so if you ask me, yes, he was an avatar. And, he was a beautiful sage. He was a yogi. There are stories where people say he went to Tibet to study with the yogis. I have read that also. Hare Krishnas, they say that he went to Jagannath Puri and he studied with the Vaishnava saints. So there are many views, and yes, he was a great man, a great sage, a great yogi.
I have also heard that he was in touch with the Eastern spirituality, although he was Eastern, being a Jew.
Yes.
But I have also heard what you just said. What you just answered to me, that he did have some connection, some contact with all that philosophy and all that spirituality coming from the more deep Eastern spiritual
Yes,
path.
I agree with you. I have read a bit about that, and I just mentioned that I have read that he was in Tibet and studied the Tibetan teachings. And yes, I agree with you totally.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sadhana.
So now,
So it's Siri Amrita, Satnam.
yes, Amrita.
And so I had a question about, we made mention of the fact that at one, let's call it time, at one point we existed in a state of non-duality, and we were in complete union with everything that was, with God, with that energy that created the universe. But then, so I guess my question is, why then did creation get created, and now we exist in a state of non-dual, of duality, and we're trying to find our way back? Why? What is the theory behind why that was necessary? And as a second part of that question,
Let's answer this question first.
Okay.
You are still in non-duality. You are still in non-duality. If you are not in non-duality, you will not exist. Existence can only happen in non-duality. If the fish says, where is the ocean? If the fish says, where is the ocean? How can you show the fish its ocean? The fish was born in the ocean, the fish lives in the ocean, and the fish breathes in the ocean, and the fish will ultimately merge into the ocean. So your question to me is, you are like a fish, and you asking me, can you explain to me how am I one with the ocean? That's your question. If you were the fish, this is your question. I'm just reframing your question. You being a fish, you asking me, can you explain how I am one with the ocean? You can't. But the reality is you are the ocean. There is never a time when they are two. Now the aim is, this non-duality, this union is very there. It never broke. We are all united on different levels. On the level of breath, we are united. Same breath you are inhaling, the same breath I am inhaling. Our DNA somewhere, it's all the same. Our mind is all the same. Some thoughts you have, some thoughts I have, they're same. There's some thoughts we will not have. It's okay. But the oneness with everyone, it is there on different levels. The ultimate oneness, the ultimate non-duality, is the oneness of consciousness. And consciousness means a state of mind where there are no thoughts. And it is existing in you even right now. And it's existing in me even right now. It's existing even in the trees and in the animals and in the living and the non-living things. Without that union of that consciousness, or you can call it soul, we will never exist. So there's never a time when this non-duality was not. Because this non-duality is, that's why there is life. The aim is not to have this non-duality again. It's already there. The aim is to recognize. It's called soul realization. It's a realization. Or it is known as God realization. So it's a realization. It is already there, but it's realized. So the aim is to realize and not to merge back, because you're already merging. I repeat, the fish. Kabir says, पानी में नीन प्यासी, पानी में नीन प्यासी, मोहे सुन सुन आवे हासी. He said the fish in the water is thirsty. The fish in the water is thirsty. and it's asking for water. And Kabir says, when I hear this, I feel like laughing. I feel like going into laughter. Because it's funny. The fish, the source of the fish is the water. It is existing because of the water. I repeat, the fish is existing because of the water. And yet the fish in the water is thirsty. So the fish do not need to reconnect with the water. The fish do not need to reconnect with the ocean. It is already there. It is the recognition. Another example. You know a bubble, the water bubble?
Yeah.
Water bubble. These are such stories, they're not necessarily true, but, they just used to, to make some sense of that which cannot be explained. So this bubble in the water, he went to a sage, he went to a master, the bubble in the water. And the bubble says, "Dear sir, dear master, can you show me the water?" I repeat, the bubble in the water goes to a sage, a realized man, and he said, "Dear sir, can you show me the waters?" The sage says, "Open your eyes. Open your eyes and you will know." And the bubble replies, "If I could open my eyes, I would not have come to you. These eyes cannot be opened. They had to be opened by someone who has already opened it, who knows the technique. That's why I came to you." So the master, he did this like that, and he burst the bubble. He did like this, and he burst the bubble. And the bubble was no more. And the sage said, "Have you seen the waters now? Have you seen the waters?" And the bubble replies, "I was not. The water was. I never existed. It was the water which was existing. And now I realize," the Sufis, I recite the whole verse, "मैं न था, वो आप थे, मालूम न था. मैं न था, वो आप थे, मालूम न था." I was not. It was the divine itself. It's just that I was not realized yet. So after realization, so it's not going back into that oneness. It is going back into realization. So you were never separated. It's just a realization. And how this realization comes? Rumi says, "Mast girdam, stay in the company of those who are intoxicated with the divine wine. Stay in the company of those who are intoxicated with the divine wine. Because even if you do not get the wine, even if you do not get to taste the wine, at least you will be able to smell the wine in their presence. And that is called the Sangha. It's called the Sangat. When you dwell or when you come into a community of like-minded people who are in the same journey, because when one gets, if you are associated with it, you also get. So the aim is to go back into that realization, and that realization comes in the Sangha. So that is the journey. So you were never separated, you just need to realize. And this is a process. It is not one lifetime. It is many, many lifetimes. You come and you go, and the search continues and continues and continues. I hope that answered your question.
So would you say that creation was created just to provide an illusion then?
Repeat yourself, please.
If everything that we see and know and the whole of creation was actually created in order to provide just an illusion.
You see, it is the mind which created. Mind created. and mind created the way it wanted to create. The reality is that what you see is not in its real form. Even our vision, you think what you are seeing is the reality? No, it's not the reality. You have a certain fixed vision. There's something beyond this vision. The houseflies, they do not see the way we see. They have a different world. They have a different world. And there are some germs which can only see a certain, a certain length or certain distance. And from their view, we are not existing because they cannot see us. So the creation is individual. You create your world. The creation always was. I know I'm not just conflicting with what I said in the past, but that was from different point of view. In my class, I said the creation started, or the creator became creation, and that's a different viewpoint. Now I'm giving a different viewpoint, and that's how it is. There is no fixed. Let me tell you, you cannot have any fixed thought about the creator. You cannot have any fixed thought about the creation. If you have a fixed thought about the creator and the creation, it's called Maya, it's called illusion. It's not reality. Because it's a flux. Creation and the creator is flux. One moment is like that, one moment is like this. So now your question is from here. The aim is to come here. Rather than, there are two ways. The way of the scientist and the way of a devotee. And it's very good. What you asked is a very good question. This is how we start. But ultimately, with time, this has to come down. You have to come down here. Rather than trying to understand the creation, go into ecstasy, seeing the creation. The birds can fly. Wow. Look, who feeds the bird? At the end of the day, they have food. Who is running this whole process? Not how it is running. That is the way of the scientist. That is the way of the mind. How it is running. A devotee is, wow, it is running. Vahe. Vaho ka bada tamasha. It's a verse in the Guru. Vaho ka bada tamasha. Great, wow. What a great drama of the Creator. These are the words of the devotee. And how is this drama running is the word, the way or the thoughts of the one who comes from the mind. So I'm sorry I cannot answer your question, but I can let you know that you need to go into ecstasy just rather than trying to understand. My request to you will be, don't try to understand. Go into ecstasy, seeing all this, see such a wonder. I'm sitting somewhere else and you're sitting somewhere else and we're talking. Wow, it's happening. So rather than how is this computer running, how is this whole, information is going, this is not our path. This is the path of those who are here. And it is a good path. They are needed. If you think that is the path, then it's a good question. Keep on asking. And another thing I will add in, realization of the self, realization of God does not mean that all your questions will be answered. Your questions will dissolve. The day your questions dissolve, understand you are going closer to God. And if there are a lot of questions coming, it is a good process. It's a process. It's a stage. But ultimately a stage will come. Once upon a time, I had a lot of questions. And I went from place to place to place, and search that, search this. Different scriptures conflicting each other. One scripture say like this, one scripture say like this. One teacher say like this, one teacher say like this. A lot of confusion came. Then with time, the grace of Sri Singh Sadhana, I realized that instead of trying to find which is right, which is wrong. Wow, such a conflict. It's beautiful because everything has its meaning, everything has its process. So your question was, whatever your question was, let's be in ecstasy. Because there was a question, be happy, that's it. Okay.
Satnam.
Sadhana. Anything else?
Well, I was just thinking about this ecstasy. That's what you put in Yogi's cave. So we're going to do it again in September.
Yes. You want to share that with them?
21 at the match, everybody. Was there somebody else who was going to speak?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Satnam, this is Gurwan. How are you?
Roland, hi, how are you?
Good. Thank you, my dear.
Nice to connect with you again.
Yeah, oh look, it's my first time. I haven't still got the idea, but I'm getting there. Okay,
Good.
I've got a quick question. I have been asked to do some meditation with a group of people recovering from surgery. It could be breast cancer, it could be whatever, you know. Just give me an idea. What shall I do with that? Breathwork, I just have to take it very easy because again I have to connect with them some way. So what's your suggestion? Give me a suggestion.
Yeah, I think the suggestion will be, sometimes certain exercises, certain breath patterns, any surgery and all that, may not be appropriate. And what it comes to me, although there will be some kriyas and some breath, that will be appropriate for that specific surgery. But I'm not getting that now. What I'm getting now is Shabad, sound. So the best way of healing is through the sound current. So maybe some Shabad will do. And, like Tan Tan Ram Das Gurudin Siriyatini Swarya, that whole Shabad will be a good thing. Mool Mantra will be a good thing. And another good one will be Har Singh, Narsingh, Neel Narayan, Guru Sekhar, Guru Singh, Har Har Gayan. You know that mantra?
By any particular singer? I think Niranjan Kaur has got a CD on there.
Yes, she has sang beautifully, so that will be a good version.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying this Yogi Mela follow-up.
Okay. Thank you. Good. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, in Satnam.
I have another question.
Yes.
This is Liv Akhtar.
Yes, Liv Akhtar.
I am in Siddhi Gyan Reluctant Healer course, and we're asked to do Tradikam with each of the yogis. And a lot of very deep, profound things are coming through. And what is your feeling when it's very personal and my soul feels that this is directly, I'm given something I'm supposed to carry out or carry through? Should we trust this 100%, being such a young yogini? Should I, when I'm in the vibration of the Guru and I'm getting a very clear message, should we, as we practice in our sadhanas, trust it 100%, or should we ask the question over and over?
Can you just ask this question, but don't make it too long? Simplify your question.
When the Guru comes through in meditation and gives us an essence of him, direction, should we trust 100% and follow through?
As long as you have this question, it is the mind. If you won't have this question, recognize it is the Guru.
Okay, thank you.
Amandeep, would you repeat that answer?
As long as you have this question, question, is it the Guru or is it the mind? As long as you have this question, it is the mind. And the day you do not question this, which is coming through, it is the Guru.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
You.
Who's next?
Someone is trying to speak, I believe.
Amandeep, can you explain a little bit about what makes a difference when we say be such versus be such? I know it's to remove the one mantra helps to remove blocks, but what does it actually mean? And a little bit more about that.
You mean the be and the be?
Yes.
Yeah. Yogi ji calls Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Have Be Sach, Nanak Hosi Be Sach as Kundalini Shakti Mantra. With Ekonkar to Guru Prasad. Ekonkar Satnam Karta Vrkripa Nirvara Kal Nirta Jini Sabam Guru Prasad. There are some Sikh traditions who only chant until here. I don't know if you know, there's a whole conflict. Some says you have to chant it until Nanak Hosi Be Sach, although we in the Kundalini tradition started by Yogi Bhajan has always been told to chant until Nanak Hosi Be Sach. But in the main Sikh tradition, the mainstream, and those of you who know the Reform movement, they do not believe that you should continue. You should stop until Guru Prasad. You stop there. And all these sages and all these saints and all those great masters in this dharma has always emphasized that you have to chant until Nanak Hosi Be Sach. And there are many reasons for that. So I will not go into that. I'll come to her question. So until Guru Prasad, Ekonkar to Guru Prasad, Kundalini will be awakened or can be awakened. If you are interested only in awakening the Kundalini, then Ekonkar to Guru Prasad will do the job. But it is the Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Have He Sach, Nanak Hosi Be Sach that will direct the Kundalini. So Be Sach mantra gives direction to the Kundalini. When the Kundalini is awakened, most of the time, the 5 pranas in us is not balanced. And, sometimes in certain Kundalini traditions, Kundalini exercises, it may have happened to you, or may have not happened to you, or you may have heard about it. It's not that everybody must have this individual. Usually people feel, there's this body vibrations, there's jerking, sometimes people go into laughter, sometimes people go into emotions, crying, this and that. All this happens because the 5 pranas inside you is not balanced. Prana, Apana, Samana, Vayana, Udayana. The 5 pranas, they're not balanced. So if they're not balanced, chances are if Kundalini is really awakened in that process, it will either enter the Ida or it will either enter the Pingala. If it enters in the Ida, Pingala, a lot of fire will manifest in your body. You become very fiery, anger will come up, and some people may have these symptoms on different levels, even if it's very minor. And when you go into Ida, it also creates imbalance in your chakras. And sometimes a yogi gets stuck in certain chakras because the Kundalini has taken the wrong path. So the aim is not to awaken the Kundalini, the aim is to direct the Kundalini so that it can enter Shushmana. And in order for it to enter the Shushmana, it must have the correct sound. Correct sound. And Yogi Ji mentions that the correct sound which will make, now this is very important, listen to this. He says that the important sound or the most important sound for Kundalini to enter into Shushmana is This is the sound. And it is there in the Mool Mantra. Ad Sach, Jugad Sach. Just reading a few days ago, somebody asked Yogi ji, how was Guru Nanak Yogi? He said, look at his sound, look at his mantra. This is the sound of the Bhagavati. This is the sound of the goddess. This is the sound of the Kundalini. Sushmana and the sound current. When Bhagavati or the Kundalini is awakened, this is the sound. The first sound she makes. There are 10 sounds. The first sounds. So you have to vibrate in that frequency for the sound. The same sound will attract. So if your mantra at that moment is not correct, the Kundalini can go divert. So it is the Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Habi Sach, Nanak Hosti Di Sach. This sound directs the Kundalini. So Yogi ji calls these Ad Sach, Jugad Sach, Habi Sach, Nanak Hosti Di Sach as the Kundalini Shakti mantra, that which directs the Kundalini. So the Di Sach mantra directs the Kundalini. And now, because all of us are different, evolving different. Some of us are stuck in the heart, some of us stuck in the navel, some of us are stuck in the Vishuddha. Ultimately, all these stucking, whatever chakra they are, ultimately the root of all the stuffing in your life, all the hindrance in your life is not in the chakras, it's here. Because this is where we live it. This is where we live it. That's why Guru Gobind Singh says, give me your head. Give me your head. If you want to walk on the path of love, cut your head and put it on your hand and come walking to it. It's not that you have to cut the head off, it means to come out of the mind. And this is something that really blocks every seeker is the mind. The greatest enemy is the mind, and the greatest friend is the mind. So before it becomes the friend, it is the enemy, the greatest enemy of achievement of the man. The doubting self comes in, the mind comes in. So to break that, that boundary, break that hindrance, the Be Sach is opened. So the Be Sach mantra is chanted. So the Be Sach mantra does the same thing, but it breaks the blocks. The Be Sach mantra, Asativa Sach, Habi Sach opens up the flow, gives direction, and if it stops anywhere, then that's where Be comes in. The energy of the heart comes, Be, and cuts it. The heart energy comes, cuts Be. You can feel the vibrations here. Be. So the Be Sach mantra gives direction to the Kundalini, and the Be Sach mantra cuts any hindrance, cuts any obstacle that may manifest or may have come into your life, during the process of life after life after life. So I repeat, B gives direction and B cuts any hindrance to this flow. That is the simple meaning or simple explanation, although, there can be a lot of other longer explanations as well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if it would be helpful if we alternated chanting those two forms. But then I just remembered the triple mantra does that.
Yes, that's another beautiful way, because you bring Hat Guru Name, Siddharth Guru Name, Sat Guru Name, Sri Guru Deva Name, you bring the Guru. So there's a special structure which Yogi has given us in that mantra. It activates, it clears the blocks, and it also brings the presence of the Guru. So that's an ultimate, protection mantra in the Kundalini tradition. Thank you so much, Sri Gyan, for sharing and adding that in.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, baby.
Any other? I believe someone is trying to ask a question.
Amandeep, it's Gurwant again.
Yes, Gurwant.
Now, the 10 sounds that you mentioned, what is that? Did I miss something?
Again?
You mentioned something about Guru Nanak having some 10 sounds in his Shabada, or did I miss?
There are the 10 sounds of the Kundalini as she is awakened.
So
not Guru Nanak, but the sound of the Kundalini. The sound is the sounds of the Kundalini as she is awakened. The first sound is shh. And then there are many other sounds.
In Japji?
Yeah, the Sach, Dugad Sach, is there in Japji. And the other sounds are also there.
So all these 10 sounds are there?
I in Japji.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I want to clarify.
You want more? You see that? Oh, okay.
I have a question. This is a Darshkar. I'm from Herndon. Can you talk about what is a Mela?
You mean the definition of a Mela?
Yes. Or anything.
Mela means union. Not just union, but union of ecstasy. Union of ecstasy, where you unite, through ecstasy. And the nod of, so it is a union, not just any simple union, but union because you're in ecstasy. That's called a Mela, a celebration. That's another meaning of Mela. Mela means celebration. Celebration of what? We call it Yogi Mela. Yogi means union. Union with the lower self unites with the higher self. So it's a celebration of the union of the lower self to the higher self. And Mela, Me means Maya, illusion, La means dissolve. So Mela means where the Maya or illusion dissolves, where you come face to face with your true nature. That is called Mela. Is that enough?
That's great.
Okay, thank you. What else?
Amandeep, one of our participants is talking about the fact that at the Mela that she had to be, Yogi Bhajan said we have to be 9 hours ahead of our husbands. And then I was just recently reading that a woman gets to ask 9 questions a day before her husband stops hearing. Could you tell me a little bit about the significance of that 9 that keeps coming up?
9 is the number of sacrifice. You can only ask the question if you have sacrificed. It's not your right until you have not sacrificed. So the nature of the woman is sacrifice. She sacrifices herself. Once you have sacrificed, then you have the right. Now we are talking about relationship, it's the male and the female relationship. The male cannot sacrifice. I'm sorry about that. The male cannot sacrifice. It is the woman who can sacrifice. Because she has sacrificed, she has attained that, what will be the word, that gift that she can ask that 9 questions which you talked about. So, but it's not that any woman can ask that. You try asking, your husband will run away. There will be why you ask me so many questions, that and this. But once she has elevated, when I say sacrifice, what it means is, to elevate yourself, to sacrifice in the sense that you transcend all your lower nature. Once you have reached that caliber, then you ask the questions. You can ask your husband, it will be answered. You can ask, whoever, it will be answered. You ask the 5 elements, they will answer to you. You ask the nature, they will answer to you. You ask the gods, they will answer to you. You ask the mountains, they will answer to you. You ask the trees, they will answer to you. In the past, if you look in the past, all ancient traditions, there was this whole process of, connecting with nature. They used to worship the nature. They used to worship the trees. They worship the mountains. It's not that they did not knew that there's, whatever, we call them pagans, or we call them, they were not civilized enough, or they were not evolved enough. They were so evolved that they had sacrificed, in a sense, that they have taken over their lower nature, their doubting mind, and they have elevated, they reach a certain caliber that even the trees will talk to them. Even the mountains will talk to them. And then you ask those questions and the answer will be coming back to you. So once you have evolved yourself, you have reached a certain caliber, all these questions will be answered. So I hope I answered your question. Good.
And I have one more question.
Yes.
Namdarshan here. We've been talking about the male and the female. I was just wondering why all the gurus, masters are all male.
So males, so that they can come through a female. You understand? They were males so that they can come through the female. That's one. The second is that because only a female body, she's so evolved, when so great energy need to come down, the one who can hold that energy has to be greater than that energy. So it is only a woman who can hold that energy. So that's why they had to come through the female. Now, I know I'm not getting exactly into your question, but now I'm going to get exactly into your question. The concept of the male and the female only remains until the 5th body. Beyond the 5th body, there is no male and no female. You are asking this question, or this question exists, because majority of us, we are still in the 1st body. You see the Guru as male, but the reality is the Guru is neither male, neither female. Guru is the one who has gone beyond the 5 bodies now. The 1st body, if you are a male, your next body is female. If your 1st body is female, then the next body is male. And then the next body is again opposite. So we'll start. Okay, this is male, 1st body male, male body. The next body will be female. The next body will be male. The next body will be female. And the next body will be male. Beyond the 5th body, there is no male and no female. And Guru is the one who has transcended all these bodies, not just the 5 bodies, but ultimately the 10th body. So the concept or this question of male or female only exists when you are still in the 1st body. So this is a question of the 1st body. Ultimately, there is no such thing as male or no such thing as female. So this question only exists as long as you are in the 1st body. Ultimately, the Guru is neither male, neither female. You are still seeing the Guru as male because you are in the 1st body. But Guru is neither male, neither female. And there have been many female bodies which have also attained what the gurus or what that guru in a male body has attained. Guru Nanak's mother was one of the greatest teachers in Guru Nanak's life. She meditated, she along, I talked about this in the Yogi Mela. She in the golden age meditated for billions and billions and billions of years before, that body was ready to hold that Guru Nanak's energy. Baba Sri Chand, the one Guru Nanak's sister took care of Baba Sri Chand. Baba Sri Chand became Baba Sri Chand because of Bebe Nanak, the female energy. So the female energy usually is a nourishing. The male is the one who plants the seed. And even though this majority of the time, this ultimate seed, comes into the male body, but it's always the female around. Even in Yogiji's life, Dibiji played a very important role. Had she not agreed or did not, recognize, Yogiji would have not even come here. Similarly, there have been, during the time of the third Guru, there were 174 teachers that were direct representatives of the Guru. And among them, if I'm not wrong, I think 92 of them were female. And all these female bodies were the direct representatives of the Guru, and they used to initiate people on the behalf of the Guru. And down the history, there have been many others like, Rabia, one great sage in the Sufi tradition, and many others, Mata Gujri, another great sage, Bibi Pani. She gave birth to a Guru. She was a wife of a Guru. She was a daughter of a Guru. She was a grandmother of a Guru. She was a great-grandmother of the Guru. She was a great-great-grandmother of the Guru. And she was a great-great-great-grandmother of the Guru. And she was a great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother of the Guru. So there have been women. But the women, their nature is different. They, rather than, they going out and speaking about God, they rather encapsulate it. And, so the woman gets pregnant and she holds it. And the man's nature is, once they have that, they throw the seed out. So you see, majority of the masters in all the spiritual paths, majority of them are male, because that is the nature of the male. Whenever, I had another point here, whenever a male body, the first male body, we talk about male, female, whenever, the first male body, whenever it attains, immediately somewhere else the female body attains. And if somewhere a female body attains, immediately after a few months a male body attains. That has to be a balance. And there are equal number of enlightened males and enlightened females, but usually we don't see this because the nature. The man throws the seed out and the female encapsulates it, gets pregnant, and she's quiet. So she gives birth to God, and man throws God out. So these are some of the explanation, but I'll repeat my first answer. This question, it belongs to the first body. Ultimately, as you reach, Guru is the one who is neither male, neither female, because it has transcended all the 10 bodies. So all these questions are on a very first level. Higher, there's no such thing.
The next Sadhana.
Sadhana. Another one question, we almost done.
Yes, we can take another question. Is there another question?
Satnam, this is Gurwan again.
Yes, Guru.
Quick question. When we do our sadhana in the morning, Amrit Vela, so do we just recite Mool Mantra or do we go into the whole Japji?
Whatever you are comfortable with.
I like to recite the Mool Mantra and I have a mala. So is that sufficient? And then when I'm up awake later in the morning, then I do my japji. Is that a right way? Because with kids and the way my lifestyle, I find it a bit hard just getting up doing my japji because I'm not up and up. I can't pronounce my words well and I'm stumbling in the dark. So I just do the Mool Mantra, use a mala, and that's it.
All ways are right ways. Because if it is the wrong way, you will never walk that way. Because the wrong way, there's always this way. You can't even walk. If you get that, whenever there's a wrong way, the moment the wrong way starts, there's always a cross there, right? It means there's not, you can't even enter. They have these boards there, like in wood, they will have, or the door is closed, and they will say, no entry. Wrong way, no one will ever enter wrong. Every way is the right way. And if you think it is the wrong way, it's just that you need to learn. It's a process. You are still walking the right way. You're still walking towards yourself. It's just that some teachings need to be done, and that's why you think it's the wrong way. So coming back to your question, you are doing perfect. The main aim is the intention. It is the intention behind whatever you're doing, not what you are doing. Not the quantity, it is the quality. I'm sorry if this doesn't make sense, but that's what I think. If you're doing for, like 6 hours and your mind is somewhere else, you're constantly looking at the watch. After 2 minutes, you're looking at the watch, 2 minutes looking at the watch. You have not done meditation of the mantra, you have done meditation of the watch. So you are meditating on the watch. So rather than spending 6 hours and constantly looking at the watch and satisfying my mind, I've done 6 hours sadhana. If you can do 11 minutes, but it's awareness, your intention is that will save the job. That will be good enough. So whatever you're doing, keep doing, just the intention behind it, and the love to that. Okay. So, Sri Dhyanji.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate all those very personal questions.
Thank you.
Finally, we get a chance to ask them. So lovely. And I always am amazed that you are the fountain of these things. So anybody, you just ask him anything, and he's going to give you a good answer.
It's grace of the Guru. I don't answer. The one who's sitting behind, he comes through.
Bless you, dear.
Yeah.
Bless you, dear.
Yeah.
Now, I just wanted to remind everybody, there are 2 things that I want to remind you. One is, if you do not already have the recordings of the Yogi Mela, that event is always so spectacular because in the recordings, you can actually feel the vibrations. It was the same with live streaming. For instance, Nam Darshan, do you want to talk about how it was when you live streamed the Yogi Mela?
It was an incredible experience, but hello, Satnam, it's Nam Darshan Singh from New Orleans. Satnam. It was an incredible experience. Unfortunately, with some of the dropouts, we were continuing. It was a wonderful group event. But not being able to see it and then losing it for a few minutes and then losing it again, it made it difficult. So that's why the recordings are so important to us, so that we can recapture the moment and the vibrations that Sri Gian is talking about.
Wonderful, dear. Thank you. So we have made a deal for you, and I hope other people are not going to get mad that we've given some people a deal here. But if you would like to have the recordings for that whole weekend, there's is that somebody you know?
Yes.
That's your sweetness. Oh, good. you can go to www.soulancer.com/YM2014 underscore get GET underscore recordings RECORDINGS .html. And I believe we took we took about $70 off of that price. So man, now is the time to get them so you get perpetual access. And now, as I said, remember the Yogi Mela? How Amandeep had so many things to teach. And he wanted to teach the avatars, but didn't have enough time. So we're having a webinar on the avatars, I should say, coming up, like I said before, on Tuesdays, May 13, 20, and 27, at the same time as this webinar. And of course, you will also get the recording that you can listen to anytime in the future. And that page is soulanswer.com/avatars, AVTARS.html. Did you say there are 4 categories of avatars?
You're talking to me? Yes.
Yeah. 4 categories of avatars. It's really quite amazing.
Yeah, so there's Nitya Avatar, there's Namitya Avatar, there's Vansh Avatar, there's Avansha Avatar, there's a Purna Avatar, and there's a Purna Avatar. So these are the 6 main avatars.
Oh, 6?
Yeah.
6 categories. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I
And much more. So.
Oh, okay. You can see about a 10-minute video that he did a few months ago on that page if you want to. It's /avatars.html. And then don't forget to put on your calendar. I'm sorry we don't have all the registration put up yet. But Yogi's Cave is coming, and it's going to be at the ranch. We're going to have a tent. Can you imagine? We're going to have a tent and invite everybody for this incredible experience. Because, can you say a little bit about that vortex or that energy that we'll be joining?
Yeah, I've talked about it before, and just a short intro. Whenever I invite a master this world into higher dimensions, and these higher dimensions are not somewhere else, just coexist along with us. So when the energy transfers from this to the other side, there's a whole pathway gets created. And that spot from where she left, a whole vertex energy center becomes activated. In the past, those who knew this science, they will go to this special place where Master had left the physical body, and they will sit around and they will meditate to keep it activated. It goes on for 12 years. And if it's not activated, constantly activated by those who are in love with him, by his devotees, by his students, after 12 years, the traces become less. So it's like he starts the fountain, and then you have to keep doing it. That becomes the responsibility of the students. So in the past, the students will go and sit around that space, and they will meditate. And the beautiful thing about meditating in this point around this point is that it is equivalent to many years of meditation outside. So what you may attain outside, that you may attain in just a few days. So that becomes a vortex center, which time it becomes a tirath. The tirath means sacred site. So this is how all the sacred sites are born. And they will sit around. And this merging of the master's soul with the supreme soul is known as Urza. Urza means, marriage celebration. So it's a celebration because the individual soul bride of the master have merged with the universal soul. So the devotees will come around, they will meditate, they will dance, and they will go into ecstasy, open up their heart so that an energy can enter into their heart. So this is a very special meditation. We did this what do you call this retreat or this workshop, the Yogi Scale. Last year we did the first time. This year we are doing the second time. It was ultimate. It was so intense, for me, intense for Sri Gyan and intense for all of us. So if you feel the calling, please come. It will be, just 2 days, going back and sitting in that vortex center, which has been activated by the master in the world. Yes, Sri Gyan.
Good. Thank you. Is that little one, is he right near you?
Yeah, he's in the kitchen. He's having his food.
Oh, sometime I want to see him.
Yes, we will put him on one day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, God bless you, dear, and thanks to everybody for joining in and for answering such wonderful questions.
Thank you.
It really was a divine time together. It was Sangha, wasn't it? Sangha.
Yes, it was.
Okay. Bless you all.
Thank you.
Okay, so now, palms together, begin long deep breathing.
All-knowing. Being all-knowing is your identity.
That's it. Long deep breathing. I and sing this beautiful song to each other and receive it from each other. Again, pure Sangha. We are on this path together in the oneness. Inhale to begin. May the
long
sunshine
upon
all love surrounding.
Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Inhale. Beauty, this expansion of who you are. Amandeep, please bless us.
Many blessings to all those who came and who sat and who meditated and who became the Sangha, so that we, in this consciousness of Nanak, can progress, can dwell, and can grow. And I bow to all those who have walked this path, and I bow to all those who are walking this path, and I bow to all the rest who in one lifetime or the other will walk on this path. Sadhana.
Waheguru. Thank you so much, dear.
Okay, for now.